No. Just stay down. Ow. I hate bedhead!
Let's hit the throttle. Oh my god, yeah, hands going on. Let's hit the dance floor again.
Wild like.
Hello, welcome to the Wild Reviewer, and today I'm going to review a thing. Hey kids, who likes the story of Puss in Boots? I don't know much of the tale of Puss in Boots. Really, the only thing I know about him is that he was in the Shrek movies. And honestly, I just thought he was an original character in the Shrek movies. But today we're gonna look over some Puss in Boots media. And just so we're on the same page, it's not this Puss in Boots, it's this Puss in Boots. Not much of a bootleg Puss in Boots, but a rip-off version of Puss in Boots. We're looking at another rip-off movie today. That's what I'm trying to get at. If you remember a while back, I did a group of videos discussing a bunch of rip-off films that I had found. Well, this is another one of those rip-off movies I found a little after I made the rip-off trilogy, and it's a bit interesting. It's definitely different from the other ones that I've seen. The difference is with this rip-off film, I actually got a story and was a little entertained with this movie. Just looking at the cover of it, you could probably tell, oh, it's a bit cheap looking. These guys probably don't know how to animate that much. Honestly, if you were to watch that yourself, you'd have to be the judge of that. Personally, for me, the animation is okay. Just by looking at a few scenes here, the animation for it does seem to be in good condition. I guess the only thing that does seem a bit odd is that they color things in really weirdly. I mean, you can obviously see the color is outside of the lines. I mean, it's not like we learned to color inside the lines when we were in preschool. But how is this story? Does it keep up with the actual fable of Puss in Boots? Well, that I wouldn't know, because I've never seen the original story of Puss in Boots. But that's okay, because we get a little recap in this movie. In fact, this movie is supposedly what happens after the Happily Ever After. I like how they're, because, you know, we've never gotten one of those movies before where we see what happens after the happy ending. What an original idea. So let's go on this journey together. Let's see how oddly good or oddly bad this film could be. Let's dive right into Puss in Boots, a furry tale. That is not a pun, that is the actual name of this film. So like I said before, the first 2 minutes are actually a prologue to what the story of Puss in Boots is all about. Also, I want you to pay attention to this scene.
That's me, Puss. Actually, the name is Rusty. But Russ in Boots didn't fly with Charles Perrault. So, Puss it is.
Yeah, Russ. Rusty. That's his name. Russ in Boots. Let's all remember that. Let's remember that this character's name is Russ. There's really no point of touching upon this. I mean, they're just recapping the story. So why don't we just dive into the actual story that we're supposed to be paying attention to? Just gonna go for a nice walk to get that out of my head.
See that? Even the mention of that cat makes my allergies. Oh, never mind. I must lay down. I'm afraid I might faint, or worse.
Worse?
My lungs might shrivel into tiny little airless sacs. Oh, I can feel them constricting at this very moment.
What the hell? Alright, so you're allergic to cats. Don't have to make a big deal about it. Just say, hey, I'm allergic to cats. We can't keep them. You don't have to be over dramatic about it, lady. Oh, goody. Here are some other main characters of the film, the three blind mice. In this scene, we see them getting food for Puss, who's locked up in a dungeon.
We brought you a mite piece of crust. Aged to perfection it is.
I'm sorry?
We brought you a mite piece of crust.
A mite pizza crust? What is a mite pizza crust?
You a mite piece of crust.
Did you say that correctly? A mite, or did you mean to say something else? What are the words coming out of your mouth mean?
You a mite piece of crust.
Also, where did you get a pizza crust from? I understand the joke is they're blind, so they can't really see, but they were eating spaghetti. So where did the pizza crust come from? Unless you decided to have an all-Italian dinner. In that case, where did the pizzas come from? I like pizza and spaghetti. So Puss requests help from the mice to help him get free from his cage, and in return, he'll give them a surprise.
I'm telling you, Your Majesty, King John is continually asking me of the whereabouts of that cat. It's as if he knows
What?
that I know. And now I'm afraid he may know that I know that he knows.
What is happening?
Worse, he may know that
What
I
is
know
going
that he knows
on?
that I know. Who knows?
Don't be foolish, Donahue. He doesn't know
Okay,
anything.
pause. Why are we just showing their shadows? Okay, so the point of this scene is explaining the plan and revealing, oh, she's in love with this guy, okay, but why are we just seeing their shadows? Why don't you just animate their bodies? You've animated them before. In fact, we see these characters in the rest of the film. Why are we just viewing their shadows from very far away? Are you that lazy to actually animate their bodies talking? Let me guess. This was the last scene of the film to be animated, right? Right? And you just didn't want to be bothered with drawing faces and details on the clothes, so you figured drawing their silhouettes would be better? Is that what it is? If I'm right, then you owe me $1,000.
The Sorcerer's Summit? Sorcerers. Does the apostrophe go before the S or after the S, Professor? A possessive noun tells us who or what owns or has something. Possessives answer the question, whose? Whose summit? Sorcerers, in this case, refers to...
It's a yes or no question!
We scoured the sewers for miles, we did. Hold your box of toys, would you, Harry? You'll have the whole royal dafting.
Okay, I understand everything now. You're telling me that a bag with a fishbone, an eaten apple, and a pitchfork made this noise? I gotcha, that makes perfect sense. So one of the recurring things that you're going to notice in this film is that scenes are dragged on way too long, and the conversations are just nonsense. Like, half of this stuff could easily be edited out.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to talk to that Chef Quinn. He's making the meals much too spicy for my pretty little wubbable woo.
Who, me? All of you. All of me? All three of you. The collective you.
It's as if he knows that I know. And now I'm afraid he may know that I know that he knows. Or worse, he may know that I know that he knows that I know.
I've got some letters here for you.
Oh. And how's Miss Mary doing?
The missus is doing fine. She puts the spring in me step and the twinkle in me eye. Must you always have the last word? I'm a talking head. It's all I have.
Donahue, are you crying? Of course not, Your Majesty. Did you spring a leak? Allergies. Bloom and ragweed. The pollen count is through the roof this time of year.
So the name of the knight that was with the queen earlier is Donahue.
There isn't much time. You must free me from this cage so that I may protect the king from harm.
No can do.
Pourquoi?
Do you not remember? I am the one who put you here.
Why did you come down here? What is the point of this scene? The king sends you out to find Puss, you find him, and now you're just having a big conversation with him. What's the point of this scene? What are you there for?
I have not come to visit you. I have come to execute you.
Oh. So Puss sends the mice out again to retrieve the key so this way he can escape his cage before he ends up getting executed by Donahue.
Now hold her steady, old bugger. My nose is itching. Don't stress, Joe. I got you covered. Ow! 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 me. Sorry, Governor. Sorry, mate. My hands are a bit slippery. Hang on, Joe.
Am I closer now?
Get on with it!
Honestly, you're gonna make me fall asleep with the amount of times that you drag on these scenes. Jesus! This can easily be cut down with a few seconds, and I understand you want to put some gags in there, that's fine. You want to put gags in a scene? Perfectly fine, it's supposed to be a comedy. But if you're talking nonsense throughout the whole scene and you're kind of boring the audience, then that's not a good sign. I get it, the recurring joke is you're blind. You don't need to keep reminding us.
No, man. Je suis libre.
Wait, oh, stop, what the hell was that? Why did we just cut to an outside scene and then cut back to Puss out of the cage? Why couldn't you just animate him getting out of the cage, or is that something else that you didn't know how to animate? Along with that, you know what else I've noticed they really don't know how to animate? Let's take a look at this scene. What do you notice about this scene? If you said you can't see their legs moving, then you win 1,000,000 seconds of happiness. That's another recurring thing about this film. Along with the really dragged out scenes, you rarely see anybody's feet moving. And I'll admit, there are a few times that you actually see legs walking, but majority of the time, you really can't see a character's feet move. I mean, just look at this fight scene. It looks like Puss and the Knights are just gliding. What are they, on hoverboards? Did you secretly put hoverboards in this movie? Because if you do, that's kind of outdated, buddy. Also, it's just really sloppy and weird. Alright, so here's what happens after that. We get a really long dinner scene that, I mean it goes on for way too long. Puss fakes on being Dracula's brother, and the mice get their sight back because Dracula does some magic. We get another example that the animators can't animate legs, and get this really awkward scene of Dracula making his way onto the other side of the room without showing his legs. We get this.
That worm was magically delicious.
Children's movie. And on top of that, we get a scene with Marie, who drinks a truth potion and admits to the king that she never loved him, hates Puss, and leaves with Donahue, who she actually loves.
Sorry about Donnie and Marie, master.
No matter. It was over between us before it began.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? Was there a fight that we didn't know about earlier? Should we know about it? There was no context in here that you did not love your wife anymore. Okay, whatever. We get a little Where Are They Now segment, and the end. Okay, cool. Also, remember in the beginning when we found out that Puss's name is actually Rusty and he likes to be called Russ? Well, that just never gets brought up in the movie after that. Like, you'd think the other characters would call him Russ, but nobody else calls him Russ. In fact, the end credits don't even call him Rusty. He's credited as Puss in Boots, or just Puss. I don't have the movie in front of me, but he's not named Russ throughout the whole entire film. I don't know what the joke is with that. You're not being very clever. And that was Puss in Boots, a furry tale, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it wasn't that bad to sit through. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can be criticized about it, like the dragged on scenes, the fact that you can't see any legs being animated, this scene with the shadows, and scenes that just drag on way too long. Like that, I think that's the biggest issue with this movie. But at the same time, I was genuinely intrigued. I don't really see this as a bad ripoff. I mean, it's definitely got a poor rating all around, and a lot of people really dislike this movie. And sure, it is a ripoff because when a kid says he wants the story of Puss in Boots and the parents get this, they're probably going to be disappointed because this is not what they wanted. But the story itself, getting rid of all the dragged out scenes and really annoying stuff, it is genuinely a really entertaining story. The animation is pretty decent. not the best. Like, it's not Gravity Falls best or Adventure Time best or normal cartoon best, but it's the type of animation that you would expect from a children's story. It's not a bad film, but it's not a great film. There are definitely some good things about it that I like, but there are a lot of problems with it, so I'd have to say it's alright. It's not the worst. I would give it a really bad rating if I didn't enjoy it that much. There were some jokes that I found a little funny, and although some scenes do drag out, there are a bunch of other scenes that are paced perfectly fine. A bunch of questions that I had while watching it are explained, and are explained very well and not confusing at all, so I would give the movie a try if you're interested in checking it out. It's on YouTube if you look it up. It's just Puss in Boots: A Furry Tale. I don't understand why the character's name is Russ. It's the only thing I don't understand, but other than that, I think it's alright. You can go check it out for yourself. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. If you hate it, then you hate it. It's your opinion. Yeah. Rambling. It's a fun thing I like to do. So, that's what I think of Puss in Boots: A Furry Tale. Now I want to hear what you guys think. Have you ever heard of this Puss in Boots ripoff? If you plan on watching it and you come back to tell me how you like it, how did you like it? Did you think it was good? Did you not think it was good? Do you think that this is a better ripoff than the other ripoff films that I've seen? Do you agree or disagree with anything that I said in this video? Tell me in the comments, and also leave me suggestions for whatever movie, TV show, or anything you want me to talk about next. Thanks for watching The Wild Review on The Wild Reviewer, and you just saw me review a thing. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Make sure if you like what you see, you click that subscribe button. And come back next week, because I'm talking about the masterpiece by Tommy Wiseau called The Room. You can argue it's the worst thing ever made, and you'd be right.
Like wildlife.
We brought you a
My piece of CRUST. Aged to perfection it is.